Right, Raf Diallo here from RT Sport, and I'm at a very not not rainy Aviva Stadium, but slightly drizzly Aviva Stadium. We're here on the eve of Ireland versus Latvia, the friendly, which is a build-up to Ireland's qualifier against France next week, but also the Latvians are preparing for a game against Wales in Cardiff next week. Now, I'm delighted to be joined by Marian Pahars. Some people remember him as a cult hero for Southampton, scored a load of goals in the early 2000s for them. I've had the opportunity to interview you before on Irish radio, Marian, and I guess to start off, I mean, most of that interview was about Southampton, but let's stick on the international team. I suppose, back then you told me like you preferred club management to international management, just because of you could do more pitch work, and now as you've come into this particular coaching job that you have with Latvia, I imagine as an assistant it must be perfect for you because it is all just pitch work.
Well, yeah, it is a pitch work. Probably that time, a long time ago, we was talking. I was prefer the club job because that's everyday job. But here is the same thing. You are the head coach or you are assistant coach. But we're getting older. Obviously, our ways or our paths can be different, can become different, and I'm not exception. I'm the technical director of Football Federation, and I'm helping Dianis in the national team as his assistant also. So yeah.
All right, and obviously tomorrow you're taking on Stephen Kenny's Ireland. 10 years ago it was a match here. You were just over there managing Latvia at the time against Martin O'Neill and Roy Keane. Just on Stephen Kenny's Ireland, from what you've seen of them so far, what do you make of them?
Well, yeah, as usual, they're a strong team, and I remember that 10 years ago is different speed, different quality, and I don't want to remember that game, to be fair, because they demolished us 3-0, and I hope we made some learnings out of that game, and we expect a better game tomorrow, and we expect tougher for them. Obviously, we will do our preparation, and I hope we're gonna get something out of that game tomorrow.
Yeah, and of course Roy Keane would have been an opponent of yours during your Premier League career. You scored a famous goal, which I think we spoke about at the time, where you nutmeg Yapstam against Manchester United and put it in the net. People like talking about it even today. In terms of Roy Keane, what do you remember of taking him on, or was he somebody maybe that you didn't really get to, I suppose you couldn't really memorise much of the matches where you came up against him?
Listen, he's an absolute legend everywhere in the world, in Ireland especially, but I only can say that it's a big respect for him, and what else I can say? He's a hero in Manchester, he's a hero in Ireland, so yeah, I met him I think in one conference post World Cup or Euro when I was a head coach of the national team, and he's a top man.
Yeah, and in terms of Southampton, do you still watch some of their matches these days?
Of course I watch Southampton. It's my second home. My kid was born there, so yeah, I follow. Not as much probably as like few years ago. Had a lot of things to do now, but yeah. Unfortunately, results are not so good at the moment, but I believe in this club. I believe in fans who gonna support them, and I think they're gonna get out of this zone.
Yeah, and Southampton's number one goalkeeper, of course, is the Irish number one goalkeeper, Gavin Bazunu. Still very young. What have you made of his performances?
Well, unexperienced, obviously, but overall great technique, and I think he had a bright future.
Okay, and in Ireland, obviously, that Martin O'Neill and Roy Keane team, they were able to go to Euro 2016. You also had an experience back at Euro 2004 with Latvia, and it was the first time and only time so far Latvia have got to a major tournament. I remember you told me at the time you had double feelings about it, because while it was great to be there, you also had a lot of injuries, so you were coming on as a sub. But to be involved in the Germany game where you got your point, you drew 0-0, do you still look at that at least as a major positive for yourself that you're involved in that? And is it a game that's still talked about in Latvia today?
Well, I think in general we talk about the event. Even we lost the game against Holland, our last game in the group. We lost 3-0, but we still remember that game, and we still think it's a positive thing to be involved in that kind of competition. So till now, yeah, people of course gonna talk about that, and I really hope that we're gonna have something else to talk about in the near future. So let's hope for that. But yeah, it's a great event.
And in regards to the Nations League as well, for countries, smaller countries like Latvia, you got promoted last year. You're going to be in League C in the future. How big a help is that going to be for Latvian football, that particular competition?
Well, I think it's a very slow process, and yeah, it's already we're looking that people are more interesting. Of course, they they rather come and see a win than they're gonna come and see the better team, but they're gonna see the lose of their team. So yeah, we wanna of course to grow. We need to play strong teams. It's why we come to today, and we're gonna play tomorrow the Ireland. Yeah, sometimes you have to play your level opponents, but sometimes in order to understand where you are and what progress you make, you have to come on this kind of arenas and perform. So really hope tomorrow we can show that we got character and we got qualities to play against Ireland.
And a final question before I let you go. Obviously, you're very busy and you're preparing obviously for the game tomorrow. But in regards to Wales, obviously, Gareth Bale isn't going to be part of the Wales team from now on. He's retired. However, when he made his debut, that first game that he played against Millwall in 2006, you started. What do you remember of a young Gareth Bale, and I mean, following his career after?
Well, of course I remember a lot, but I remember when he was a kid, and you just saw the potential, amazing. His stamina, his speed, his quality on the ball. That was we was. I remember the training when he was training with the youth team, and we was passing after our training with the boys, and we saw him making making actions on the field, and we already told that time that listen, this guy is exceptional. So of course I remember that, and yeah, good luck to him.
Marian Pahars, best of luck tomorrow, and also best of luck against Wales, of course, as well.